Ordinarily, from when we wake up until when we sleep, we are living in the realm of experiences and action and thinking and feeling and responding and judging and comparing and analyzing and all that multi-experiential dimension that we call the waking state, not the awakened state, but waking, meaning the consciousness that functions me and my world. From the moment we wake up, there's a me, and there's a sense of my world. And who is in this world in relation to me? And then, is that relation favorable to me, or do I have to defend myself against that? So now one is in a perpetual dance, which often doesn't feel like a dance, rather feels more like a battle, conflict, something frightening, something awkward. Now we have to relate to this dynamic. And then, of course, comes the immense judgment. How to relate. I didn't relate well. They didn't relate well. Them and me, and them and me, and the constant judgment, constant comparison, the constant analysis that is built on this waking perception, me and my world. Now, so long as we have bodies, we will always have a sense of me and my world. A sense of it. Do we make that sense my entire reality and live from birth till death in this sense? All of us, I believe by no coincidence, have been informed that there is another dimension. There is another level of perception that remains hidden unless one first hears about it, then one spends some effort to discover, and then in practice is able to bring that dimension to be unified in the waking dimension, to be lived with the body, with our relations, and with our world. This waking perception can be described like a wheel because it spins. It's always in movement. It's always inviting us and often compelling us to move, to act, to think, to speak, to respond, to control, to push, to pull. And as we notice with a wheel, when that wheel is going very fast, the spokes on that wheel, let's say it's like a bicycle wheel, the spokes of that wheel turn into a blur. And in that blurred movement, because it is going so fast, cannot see through it. And so it becomes the reality. You only see to the wheel. That wheel spinning so fast and creating that blur, you can imagine yourself that you cannot see through it. So if you cannot see through that, then that has to be the reality. But then some people made an experiment. What would happen if I didn't act on all that movement that compels me ordinarily to act and to think and to react and to compare and to analyze, what would happen if I just sat and observed it and I didn't respond? And like a scientist that makes an experiment, we are those people who were lucky enough to get the information that you can make an experiment and you can create the environment of observing, not reacting, not being involved. Even in your meditation, I am not meditating because I have many thoughts. I am not meditating because I'm feeling the constant desire to get up and move. Even this is to be observed and put on the wheel. So there is a phenomena that when you just sit and observe, this wheel starts to slow down. You can't force it to slow down. You have to allow it to slow down. The more you force it to slow down, the more it keeps spinning. Just from observing, this wheel starts to slow down. When the wheel becomes very slow, you can see each individual spoke of the wheel, and you can even start to see through it. The slower the wheel, the more you see through it. The clearer is the perception of what is beyond the wheel. Which is perfect stillness. And all that which was of the conflict, which was of the struggle, the push, the pull, the involvement, comes to rest. And because we have these bodies for a temporary time, they're on loan to us for some time. They were on loan to us because we wanted to dance in that wheel. And so when eyes are open again, and we speak, and we think, and we feel, and we interact, and we see relations, and we do our work, we know that the purpose is not to be in conflict. The purpose is to dance. Because when one has seen through it, seen through that confusion, which we're describing with the wheel analogy as a blur, then we know from where our true sense of satisfaction comes from. Not from the experiences, not from our relations, not from our work, not from what we have, not from our titles that we have accumulated and sense of accomplishments, but from the stillness of being, from the clarity of seeing into the dimension, has so much more depth than a two-dimensional spinning wheel.